Hello and welcome back to the Bronco Wave. Today back with gold in US dollar. And to start it all off, I just want to have another look at the big picture. And from there, just go into the more detailed short-term perspective. And since it has been, I think, 1 week since I had my last look at gold, and a couple of days I had another look at Bitcoin, I think it's worthwhile just to have a look at the big picture again to, get us all back on track from an early wave perspective, what we can expect from gold and where the gold journey might be headed. And I just took the start of the prices as far as I could go back in TradeView and projected it all up towards this previous all-time high of 2011, and which in my opinion is probably the end of a wave one of the larger degree, which would in turn make this a wave two correctional pattern. And so if this is a wave two and it's already completed, we could state from an elliott wave perspective that right now we are on our way to a wave three, or in a wave three, which, if it unfolds correctly, should take gold somewhere in the area of $3,745. So this is typically a target. This 1.618 extension or projection is a target that wave threes like to touch and even surpass a little bit. So this is, if we are in a wave three, the target for gold, which it is basically headed for from an elliott wave perspective. And if we get a following correctional wave four, and this does not go into the price range of this wave one, so we get a move up, maybe to something like here, then we would get a wave four correctional move, ideally somewhere into this 2,713 range, and from there back up again. This wave five should take gold all the way to $5,413. So this is obviously a couple of years away at least, and there's always the possibility that we are right now not in a wave three, but just in another correctional pattern, which is just heading up. So you always have to be careful of that, especially considering what a incredible rally gold has completed over the course of, I don't know, 12 years, 13 years or something. And this is just the price record that's online here. So that's definitely something to be worried about. So that this basically has just been the first correctional pattern. This is the second, and there may be a third correctional pattern. But this is, just a possibility. In my opinion, not one that's very likely, considering how the inflation goes on and everything. So in my opinion, I really do not expect gold to go down here again or something. I really expect gold to go up, and that's it, with minor setbacks essentially. And so in my opinion, and from the elliott wave perspective, I think this target and this target is much more likely to be reached by gold than the targets down here. So if we are in a wave three right now, so this has been probably this wave one, wave two, wave three, four, and five. I will just remove this. And essentially the question that springs to mind when I look at the gold chart is whether this was the red wave three, or if I have to place this red three up here, which would in turn place this four over here. And I would have to put the five, I don't know, probably somewhere in this $2,400 area. This is something I'm not yet sure of. So if we take projections from here to there and then to this low here, we can see that basically this price area was the 1.618 extension, and this was essentially the 2.618 extension. So exactly the marks that I showed earlier that those waves like to hit. But if we go into more detail and look at the lower time frames and the short time frames, and depending on how you count those waves right here, you could argue that there are some 1-2 extensions, and that all of this is just part of this red wave 3. So this is the one thing that's not certain right now, but anyway, the only thing this would change would be that essentially if this 3 went up here, this 4 went down here, and this 5 went even higher, the following targets would just be higher. So essentially it wouldn't be a bad thing for gold. So that's nothing really to worry about for the moment. Right now, gold is in a correctional pattern. In my last video, I proposed that gold might be completing a triagonal correctional pattern as a wave B, and at the moment it looks like gold does just that. Yeah, so we have this wave A that finished down here. We have those A, B, C, D, E waves. From an Elliott wave perspective, they always have to be 5 waves, like A, B, C, D, E, and ideally those line up and just bounce off the lines. So if you projected this line out, you could have expected this turnaround from an Elliott wave perspective as the end of the wave E. At some point, I have to honestly say I wasn't that sure whether it would really complete this wave E, since it went a little bit above it. But then gold decided to go down and just to start this wave C down. And yeah, so that's what happens sometimes. Yeah, sometimes those targets get a little bit overshot, but then in the end, those movements like to occur. And yeah, if we take targets for this following gold movement, yeah, we just have to first of all, let's look at the projection target for this wave C. Yeah, so we take the Fibonacci projection, place it at the top here, at the bottom of this wave A, so we get all the length of this wave A, and place it up at this wave B, which is the end of this price movement. So those are our 2 marks that we want to measure. We can see that there's this 0.618 extension at $1,843. So this is my first target for gold. Yeah, so from an Elliott wave perspective, this wave C has to at least extend towards this price area and ideally go a little bit further. But this is the minimum target for it to be a wave C in form of this count. And but it could also extend all the way down here where we have $1,762, or even all the way down here to this 1.618 extension at $1,632. So this is another possibility. Yeah, so or better said, 2 possibilities. And but in my opinion, I really expect gold to turn around somewhere in this bluish area, and I really, at least for the moment, do not expect gold to go into this gray area. This might be a scenario for a later price movement. So if we get a turnaround here, which in my opinion is highly likely, judging by the fact that how gold gets bought every time, and we have those long candle bodies, and yeah, those lines down, and it's just, yeah, it looks like gold gets bought nicely and gold buyers are ready. And even though it's heading down for the moment, I'm fairly certain gold will get caught up at some point and just start its upwards movement. The exciting question will follow this move. So when we get a turnaround, there is the possibility that all of those moves have just been the first part of a overarching correctional pattern. So we could see something like this down here towards this area. Maybe let's place it at 1808. Then gold might go up and maybe bounce off somewhere here, or even higher at this $2,000 range. Definitely a possibility here. And from here go down again and go towards this grayish area, maybe lining up with this EMA 200 that's starting to flatten out. So this is definitely a possibility that to keep in mind for gold for the future. Yeah, so especially judging by the fact that we had this huge rally with just this single setback in March of 2020 and the start of Corona pandemic. And so if this is a completed impulse and we get a wave 2, it is very much a possibility that we get an extended correctional phase, especially if we have a look at the weekly chart and see the trend right there. So right now, if you look at the MACD, which is a trend follower, we can see that gold has cooled off nicely on a daily basis. So to me, it looks like gold is almost ready to turn around. So I really, judging by all of those indicators and those patterns and those possible turning points, I really expect a turnaround of gold in this area, somewhere between $1,800 and $1,840. And from there, gold could go up again and then basically go here, maybe go down again. Hopefully, this has been the end of this correction pattern and we get the next impulsive move up. But this is something we have to look out for, and we have to see how those patterns following this coming low will unfold. And if we just look at the weekly candles, yeah, just switch to the weekly view, we can see that this MACD has just crossed the blue line, has just crossed the orange line, which usually indicates a coming downward trend, especially judging by the fact that we have been at such a high. So you can see it right here. Yeah, so this blue line crossed the orange line, we went down, went up a little bit again, and which was this high, and then crossed again, we went down again. So this is something that concerns me a little bit for gold. But even in correctional phases don't just go down. It's just what you see here. You have phases where gold goes down, then it gets caught up again. It goes back up, down, and so on. Yeah, so until we reach this final point. So this is what I meant by saying that if this pattern gets finished, there could be some more correctional patterns. Yeah, so even all of this could not be the finished correctional pattern. So we could head into another overarching correctional pattern, which could maybe take some years in gold. So that's definitely a possibility for gold. Yeah, but from a long-term perspective, I really expect gold to go into this 3,700 to well above $5,000 price range, and even those setbacks really do not darken this picture. And yeah, so that's really what I expect in gold. So to sum it all up, basically, I expect, let's just go back to the daily chart. I expect a further decline in gold. So right now we are probably have seen a 1, 2, 3, right now wave 4. So I'm still missing this wave 5 down, which could be the wave that takes gold all the way into this blue box right here between $1,808 and $1,843. And somewhere in this area, I highly expect a turnaround for gold. And from there, we have to see whether we are generating a wave B, or if we generate the next impulsive move, which, if it unfolds, should take gold to new highs and well above $2,000. So those are the two scenarios for the future, but for the near future, I expect gold to finish this move down here into this box, and then from there we'll see, and of course there will be some future updates. Okay, so that's it for gold for the moment. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon.